Sanam, hello.
Sanam, Siri Gian.
Sanam.
Hi. How are you?
Good. Good.
Okay. Let me see if I can guess. Is this Guru Simran?
Yes.
Oh, good. And
Very
Hargo Ben?
Yep, it's Hargo Ben. I got to tell you
All righty.
something real quick.
Welcome, folks.
Hey, Aloha girl. I was chatting with her on Facebook this morning. She asked me to tell you that she's traveling and I want to let you know she was going to be tuning in with the class and sending heart breath. And she wanted me to tell you that instead of leaving a cold Facebook post, is how she put it.
Oh, well, that's very sweet. Very sweet. Besides that, I don't get to my Facebook all that often, so that's good. I shouldn't say that out loud because I want other people to post, you know. So.
Shame you.
Huh?
Well, shame you. Horrible.
Well, you just posted something pretty cool on there.
What's going on?
With me?
Yeah.
Me? Oh, I'm recovering from my surgery very well. I see the doctor on Thursday, so hopefully I'll get this neck brace off. And
my goodness.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks, so I'll be glad to see it go. But I just had a wonderful trip to see my brother-in-law who had a stroke a few years ago. It was his 70th birthday. My sister did a surprise party, brought in all his friends and my niece that I hadn't seen in years and her kids and her new husband. And so it's been a lovely week. Reunions.
Oh, delightful. And where do they live?
Mesquite, Nevada.
Oh.
Yeah.
How wonderful. Wonderful report.
Yes,
good
very good,
time.
Very good.
Yeah. And who else is here?
Purandir Kaur.
Hi, Purandir. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good. Do you live anywhere near where those fires were?
No.
Oh, good. Glad to have you, dear.
Thank you.
Yeah. And who else is here?
Guru Ravi.
Hi, sweetie. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. I got a day of rest, yesterday. It was great.
Yeah, you need
it. I'm Guru.
Those are fabulous.
Hey, Hargo Ben.
And who else is here? Oh, I heard a few more bells. Who's here?
Kehar.
Oh, hi, Kehar. Welcome, dear. Okay. Would you please take over singing the song at the end?
Sure.
Okay, that would be great. Kehar is our singer, and what a welcome relief she will be from me. Thank you, dear. And who else is here? Anybody else? Okay. Well, let's get... Oh, here's one. Who's here?
Sorry.
I beg your pardon?
That was me, Guru Simran, apologizing for coughing.
Oh, okay. There was just another bell, so I was interested to know who else is here.
Carol from Juneau.
Hi, dear. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Is the weather there okay now?
The weather is very fine. It's cloudy today, but it's so beautiful with flowers that who cares?
Oh, my. Sounds wonderful.
It is.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, please sit straight. Palms together at the center of the chest. And begin long, deep breathing. And relax in your third eye. And inhale to begin. Om. Long deep breathing. Long deep breathing. That's it. And opening, and please begin heart breath. That is on the exhale, feel as though the air is going out of your heart center. That's it. Keep up heart breath. Good. Okay. And now please send this beautiful healing energy to everybody in our group, whether they are here in person or whether they are whether they are listening on the recording. That's it. Keep up heart breath. Good. And now, please receive this beautiful, beautiful healing energy, conglomerated healing energy. And now please send this healing energy to your own intention so that the fullness of the energy may go to each one's own special intention. Good. And now please send this beautiful healing energy to the leaders of our country or your country. So that they may have the support and the consciousness to lead in the way that supports the people selflessly, leading the people. And then also, please send this beautiful heart breath to the Middle East. Good. And inhale. And exhale. And breathe. You can continue heart breath if you like. Okay, Baba Siri Chand, we are here. We are gathered. He says, I know. We're in the most beautiful tent that you could ever imagine. He said it's filled with embroidery. He says in those little mirrors, you know, that they sew on from India. He says it's a sparkling, glittering, beautiful tent that we are together in. He says, now, just imagine yourself lying on your back under this tent. He says, look up. He says, you will see the stars. He says, that is what is glittering in the ceiling of this tent. See the stars. See the knowledge of who you are. See the kindness that flows through you. He says, see the passive-aggressive habits that flow through you and are ready to, he says, to bounce up at any time. He says, I want you to appreciate it all. He says, yes, please, appreciate it all. We're not leaving out any part of it. He says, understand that your kindness is important. He says, but I also want you to look at your own unkindness as part of the play. He says, every aspect of you is part of the play. He says, now, he's not asking you to propagate your unkindness. He's not asking you to do that. He's asking you to forgive it. He says, even on layers that you have no clue that it's an unkindness either to yourself or to others or to the planet or to your children or whatever. He says on many levels we make ourselves irrelevant, we make ourselves unkind, we make ourselves annoyed or in the breach. He said if you saw it from my angle, you would say, oh, what's that going on? And then you would ask, well, for what reason do I do it? He says, my dears, it's all part of the karmic play. It's all part of the karmic play. He says, do not get self-absorbed in that. He says, what you do is just forgive it. Forgive any unkindness, any hurt, any, he calls it foul language to oneself or to others. He says, understand that it is not your intention to hurt. It is not your intention to be hurt. He says, but it does happen. He says it does happen because we are not at the place. He says we are not at the lake or the ocean of pure love yet. He says, but we are coming there. We are holding ourselves, he says we're holding ourselves in the state of potential to be in, of, expressing that place of pure love. He says that is our intention, and that maintains our path. He says, so it's all bound around this intention of self-love, love for others, love for the whole universe. Now, this kind of love, he says, is not this kissy face kind of love. He says it is a kind. He says this love is a kind that holds all in your heart, or your heart is held in this total love of complete acceptance of God's play. He says letting go the judgment of God's play, letting go the judgment of high or low, in or out, hurt or non-hurt. Keep up the breath, please. He says you have no clue where this love is coming from. He says because it is available totally everywhere. He says when you move into the ether of love, that's what he calls it, or the dimension of love, or to the true self, when you let go of the judgments or the things that you have learned or perceptions, he says that's when you can move out of the mistaken box that says things have to be one way or another way. Do you understand? It is a box that tells you that. He says, but and then I say, but what about the nims and the niyams, the do's and the don'ts of the yogic path? He says those are very good. They hold you on a course, on a discipline, on a commitment that moves you towards this open, free-wheeled love. He said that's what they do. He says so it's good to discipline what we call the mind or the ego or the whatever it is, to move into this place of perpetual and unending, extraordinary expression, being, flow of love that is not tit for tat, that simply is. It's a simple recognition that all that is the God flow. So why get upset about it? Why get worried about it? He says just extend your grace. Extend your toe into this river of grace. As you flow along, and let all judgments dissolve. He says, please do that now. Use your heart breath and let all judgments dissolve in this great, he calls it Mansarovar lake of pure love. And that means simply pure acceptance and pure expansion. Keep up. That's it. Keep up. Good. Keep up. And now, just allow yourself to recognize where you are. Allow the layers of knowing. Allow the layers of existence. Allow the layers. of what he calls perpetual happiness. He's not talking about giddy happiness. He's talking about layers of freedom, of openness, of purity, of kindness. He says, let them wash over you. He says, let them totally recognize them, totally connecting you to all. When we talk about the all in all, this is what we're talking about. Let yourself relax in these layers. Let yourself relax in this knowledge, this kindness, this openness. That's it. Keep up. Allow yourself the freedom. He says, allow yourself the freedom. He calls it the longevity. So what do you mean by longevity? He says, I mean that there is no time. It is beyond time. It is all time. Where there is no rush, there is no hurt, there is no stigma, and there is no containment of this expansive, beautiful quality of love. Just be who you are. Be who you are, really, with no boundaries. Let yourself flow. He said it is the boundaries that make you feel upset, hurt, squeezed in, cut off, disconnected. That make you feel bereft of love, that you are unworthy, that some are high and some are low, and you're constantly trying to put yourself on that scale and trying to put others on that scale. He says, my sweet ones, let it all be washed away in the flood of expansion, the flood of love. He says, this is what is meant by self-sacrifice. This is what is meant by the art of self-loving. He says you let go the limitations of your everyday self and flow. Flow. He says float in, be rocked in that ocean of self-love. He says you're well suited to dive into this arena of self-love, of pure love, of love of all. He says you, in this condition, you have very specialized skills that you breathe. He says there is no need for worry or for fear of going to that space. Keep up the breath. He says, let your hurt go. Let your misgivings go. Let your awareness move totally into this open space. Opening and opening. He says, and when you do this, do you feel those restrictions dropping? Do you feel the freedom of free, open air finally coming into your lungs? He says, let yourself expand. Keep up. Opening to the presence of who you are. Knowing who you are. Without restrictions. But you're not bombastic. You do not overtake others. You abide and you merge with who you call others because you are the same. You are of the same soul. You are of the same essence. He says your work, whatever it is. Whatever it is, he's showing me a person who cleans backyard pools. He says, in my estimation, is the same as a kind and beautiful teacher. If you reside in this place of openness and flow, he says, once you get out of this flow, you take yourself out of that kindness, that respect. This is how you let go of that which hurts you. He says you will see at some time, you will see that which hurts you is a matter of your own dream. He says allow the dream to change. You do that with kindness. You do that with self-love. You do that with awareness. Keep opening. He says, I want you to find the preciousness in you. Find the preciousness in you, of you, that is you. Do you find that in a general way, an all-over way? Do you find that in a particular spot in your consciousness, in your mind, in your body? Where do you find that preciousness? He says, oh, my sweet ones, you definitely have that preciousness. You definitely have it. Keep up the breath. That's it. Keep up. He says, now feel it. If it is in a spot that you locate, let it expand. Use your breath and let that spot expand. Your own preciousness, your own self-love, and let it expand to the point that it is the openness, the awareness, and the preciousness of all. He says, do you feel that? Do you feel that awareness? Do you feel that freedom? feel that letting go of a mask that you put on to represent yourself to others? Can you lay yourself open? Can you open your rib cage from the center line and just open? And let it be. Let it all be. Be aware, be true to this, to this experience, to this wisdom of who you are, who you give, what you allow. Not that you delineate, but what you allow. You may say, but how do I protect myself? He says, if it's a matter of someone coming at you with a knife, of course you keep a boundary. If there is someone who keeps putting you down, he says you do the, the side swipe. In other words, when they come at you, you just step aside. Feel your preciousness, feel your openness. If there's someone who makes a habit of attacking you, you bring this into this cloud of knowing, this cloud of perceiving a blessed true love. And you may explain from that position why or what this experience is about. And my dear, couldn't you love yourself? Keep up the breath. Feel yourself held by Divine Mother. Feel yourself open to the space of Divine Mother. He says, doesn't matter what your own mother was like. He says, go, be in this space of pure heart of Divine Mother. Open, keep up your breath. Know who you are. Be who you are. He says, let any nastiness that you come across, any perceived or what you might feel is real nastiness, either from yourself or others, he says, let it melt in this divinity or flow of divine love. In this ocean, let it be pure, purified. Let yourself be aware. Opening and opening. He says, this is your divinity, my sweet ones. This is your divinity. And it's right there. It is right there. It is who you are. It simply takes a bit of a mind switch, an awareness switch, to be this totally beautiful and perceptive being that you are. It just takes a mind switch. He says, keep yourselves healthy, keep yourselves well rested, keep yourselves open, keep yourselves well nourished and balanced. He says, because we live in this every day what we call this physical world, if as the physical world it becomes unbalanced, as our body becomes unrested, as we become malnourished, he says these also throw off our mental state, they throw off our mentality, they throw off our awareness, our access to awareness. He says, so be very, very careful about what helps you maintain this balance and this neutrality. He says, and allow the buoyancy that it provides. Allow the buoyancy of rest, nutrition, diversity of life, and let it all be subsumed in this totality of love, this ocean of love. Know that you're always swimming, walking, singing, dancing in this ocean of love. Neither high nor low, just flowing, never ending, ever flowing. He says it's a place of calm and contentment. He says, but when you observe it, you see that it is a place of power. Power flows from non-restriction. Let that be your habit. Let that be your habit. Accept it. Allow it. Be it. He says, all of us pray for peace. All of us pray for peace. He says, why not allow that blessedness of peace permeate us at every moment? And it happens with a mind switch. The mind switch. Feel it, please. Rest in it. Be who you are. Now feel the essence. Feel what it feels like. Feel it. Feel the experience. Feel the knowledge. Feel the wisdom. If you need to, take notes. Take notes. What is this very real situation? The subtleness that is the Vesuvius that carries us through into this condition of love. Be aware of it. Make a list so that your mind may have something tangible, or at least somewhat tangible, so that it may have the confidence and the wherewithal to move over. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. Don't hold back. Just be the being of you. And take notes. What does that feel like? How in your consciousness do you let that happen? How do you power up to get there? Is it your meditation, your sadhana? It is your awareness in Mother Nature? Is it your purity? Allow yourself to jump in the bright light of your purity. What is it? So your mind has some tangible switches to allow. Allow the awareness of the love, the peace, and the preciousness that you are. And inhale and exhale and breathe. He says, and now, my sweet ones, here you are with your list. A simple mind list that is tangible, that you can access in order to allow. He says, oh, sweet ones, he says, who can be the first to share? Who can be the first?
I can share, Siri Gian.
Hargoben?
Yeah.
Is that you?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
No, I can't hear you very well. Can you speak up?
Yeah, I'm speaking pretty loud.
Okay,
Can
go
you hear
ahead.
me?
Yeah.
Okay, what I was thinking of in the beginning and all through the whole thing was, how you taught us heart breath. And Guru Ravi Kaur invited me to your group back in 2009, so that's when I learned about it. And as I've been using it over these years, I noticed what it's been helping with is when something happens, like as an example, if someone is attacking towards you, I become more aware of my emotions and where that's hitting me. So as that coming in as an emotional trigger gives me a trigger to say, okay, this is coming in like this, and let me start using heart breath to transform this. And, my reactions to things have becoming less and less. It's not that I don't still react. I still react once in a while, but they're not as strong as they used to, and I don't get caught in the loop with the person of, like, going off into, as Eckhart Tolle would explain it, as the, what does he call it? The pain body, or, it's the ego. So you get trapped in that egoic loop with the other person, and that's what we're trying to do, is pull that energy from each other. So I'm becoming aware of those things more and more, and then using the heart breath to transform through that.
Wow. And you've seen a lot of progress, huh?
I'm seeing a lot. The other thing I'm seeing, too, with the heart breath is that with the person that's attacking, usually you know these people pretty well. So I start thinking of all the beautiful things that I know about them, because everybody has all the same beautiful stuff in them. So I see all their positive attributes as I'm giving the heart breath back to them. And I see that also as helping their behavior to transform quickly.
Oh, my.
Because I'm seeing all the best in them and not paying attention to the negativity, leaving that as being
wonderful.
Very small. And I also see it as like contrast. So it's like the yin and the yang. When you see that kind of stuff, you really have to have it, right? You have to have the negative so you can see the positive. So I see it as that, too. So sometimes I kind of enjoy that contrast, because I can go through something like that with somebody, and then, that doesn't feel that great, but it feels really good when you come to the other side of it and start feeling the good emotions that were transformed by the heart breath.
Good. Wonderful. Then do you feel your own preciousness, that sea of love?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've come to a point where I definitely have a lot of self-love, which I did not have that before. That's another little trick that Guru Ravi Kaur helped me with that I share with people, is if you cover your right eye and look at your left eye in the mirror, and you just continue to look at that left eye for about 3 minutes or so, for most people, the first time they do that, you see some strange things happening there. That's the soul eye, is how she explained it to me. And it's kind of hard. It was hard for me to look at that left eye with my left eye in the mirror and say that I love you and mean that, because I didn't mean that. So it's really a good test of self-love. And then I come to the point where I can look at that left eye in the mirror and I say I love you, and I mean that, because I love that beautiful soul that's there. There's no resistance for that.
How lovely.
You got to love yourself to love others, right?
That's true.
You have to love yourself that much to be able to give that love to other people. Otherwise, it's not happening,
But it's a system of allowing, not making, right?
Right.
There's not a fighting
That's right.
about
it's allowing.
it. It's like
no.
It's like
That's exactly
forgiving
right.
all of those things and saying, no, you can't love me. Oh, no, we can't go there. Oh, I am not worthy.
Exactly.
Mhm. It's just a system of letting go and letting the self-love that's already contained in this whole ocean of love to be present.
And it's just the ego blocking all of that, right? The negative ego.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes, and we can't say, "Oh, you nasty negative ego." We can say,
No.
"Oh, you poor negative ego that is in such pain."
Yeah, just be nice to
Let
the
me
ego.
hold you. It's okay. Let me be kind to you. You are worthy. Yes?
Yeah.
Good. And when you do that, you talked about the ego loop and seeing the best in the other person and who they are, who they potentially are. Have you noticed anything happening with the other person?
Oh, big time. I was just traveling, and there's somebody that I'm close to, and I know that person very well, and I would see that would transform them. Whereas usually they hold on to things so much and will just get so dragged down by that negative loop, and they're not understanding that they're the ones that are suffering. I'm not suffering from it, but I've seen them transform out way faster than he ever would before.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's great.
You can only be grateful.
Yeah.
So, what you're telling us, this is your real prayer for peace, and it has real ramifications, real reality. Is that what you're telling us?
Absolutely. It's a beautiful tool for transformation that you taught us.
Yeah, well, that was taught by the greater beings.
Right.
Good.
You put it out here,
God bless you, dear. Thank you for that. I have to tell you that last night we were on a private webinar recording Amandeep Singh. We're making a few YouTube videos to let people know about the things that he's going to be teaching coming up. One is the Avatars course, which will be a series of 5 webinars on Tuesdays from August the 5th to September the 2nd. And he kept talking about these beings. He said there are 14 layers to becoming, I don't know if he said liberated or released into the universal consciousness. He said there are people who go straight and they they skip a few of these. He says, and that's okay. But he says there are the people who become avatars, which are the same as Buddhist bodhisattvas. They go through 14 levels. It's kind of like getting your teacher training, so to speak. And then they come back and they are absolute compassion, and they come here for the sake of helping us move through our evolution. And Hargoben, what you just explained, that process of seeing the best in others and so forth, feeling that love, I'm going to say that that's similar. Now, I know there's a lot that happens in those 14 layers of avatars, but to me, it's very similar. And, my God, the thought of being able to, hook on to any of these most compassionate beings for that kind of help is extraordinary. So, Amandeep promised that he is going to help us understand these avatars, and so that we can, put ourselves in line for their compassion. To me, it's like going to Amma and getting hugged. I'm here, hug me, please.
And the Bodhisattva is the one that comes back and reincarnates over and over until all beings are able to move on, right?
That's right. That's right. That's extraordinary. That's amazing.
That's awesome. Somebody would want to do that for us.
I know. It's like beyond comprehension. Like, huh? Duh? What are you doing? But I'm here to get your help. Here to actually realize your love. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, too.
Yeah. Now, who else can comment? Who else? Maybe somebody has a list of your mind switches. Puddin' would you like to say something?
Hi, yes.
Hi, dear.
Hi. When I was listening to that last conversation, I felt I'm experiencing those things as well. And one thing I'm finding is when those situations come up and it triggers those things in me, those feelings, and then I want to react, to separate from that person or that situation. I try to remember, I send a blessing for the fact that it did happen instead of, making it a struggle. I bless that it happened because it's so rich for me. It's through those things that I can look at myself, and I can see those triggers, and then I have an opportunity to, flip the mind switch. If I can keep my presence of mind to remember the mind switch, then it's a great opportunity to. So those things, as we were hearing, the positive and the negative come together, and they're both a blessing. And not that I need to dwell in those places or be in those situations, but I'm going to use them. They're a good reminder for me at this point to get to that mind switch as soon as possible.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Not easy, though, but it really does work.
But hasn't it become easier over time that you've
I'm praying. Yeah, I'm praying, and I have faith that it will.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, me too. And I think we all do.
Yeah.
It is a process. It is a process.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and we're blessed to be alive to experience it.
You are right. Let's all be grateful for that right now. That was very good.
Yeah.
This gratitude for this play of the light and dark as we bring it all to light. Good. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Babaji.
Yeah. Okay. Now, who else can contribute?
I can contribute.
Yes, who is this?
Come from.
Huh? Who is this?
The biggest, and when we were feeling our preciousness, and something that's come for me again, but switching the mind to the heart, so along with heart, letting like the preciousness, which is kind of like the preciousness of our soul, kind of take over.
Yeah.
And most of my life is very physical because it helps to ground and get out of the mind so that we think more with the senses. So some of the things I had was just feeling my body, for me, swallowing, like a lot of tightness in the chest. Self-alignment physically helps to also bring things in, but you can also just kind of, I also felt it doesn't matter because if you can put the body in like a straight line, like chakras, and that kind of makes a connection. Also spending a lot of time in nature and drinking water. So anything that kind of shifts. And I also realized there's like a physical chemical thing because you switch to the parasympathetic nervous system. So it kind of calms down any like anxiety or mind swirls and gets you more grounded. So that's kind of it's really kind of neat. So yeah,
I love that. So this is Kahar, right?
Yeah.
And these are your mind switches. Switch to the physical body and be grounded. Is that what you said?
Yeah, not because if you use for me, using mind to switch mind is still my upper body is still of the same energy, like that kind of mind energy. So to calm the mind and allow it to switch for me is going deeper into the body and allowing that switch to connect to the other parts of the body. As thought, word, focus.
That's a fabulous and balancing idea. It's kind of like, I often use this analogy. When my brother was little, he had this inflatable Bozo the Clown, and it had sand in the bottom, pocket of sand. So when you knocked it over, it would come right back up. That's what this sounds like to me. Rebalancing, automatic rebalancing. Wonderful. I think we all got some clues from that. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Bless you. Okay, dear. So now we've all come to, what can we say, our time limit? Then we've been in timelessness now, and so now we've come to this time. And so now just feel this. Switch your mind and feel this ocean of love as we extend it to everybody on the call, everybody listening to the call, and in the arms of your own self-love, of the infinite loving you. Okay, Kahar, will you lead us, please?
Sure.
Inhale.
May the shine upon you, all around you, and your heart within you, guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on.
Inhale. And bow to your own precious holiness. And love that mind that gets in trouble and then makes it switch and then comes out with such beauty, such kindness. Okay, love you all. Talk to you next week. Satnam. Bye.
Satnam.
Thank you, Satnam.
Satnam.